Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Virtus Pro versus Team Liquid and figuring out why Team Liquid made it to TI and unfortunately why VP did not. So the first thing I want to start with is the draft. This is personally always my favorite part of Dota. So we're going to go through the draft and then we're going to do a brief look at the mid to late game of Team Liquid versus VP. This is a pretty intense game, pretty short game though, only 30 minutes, a relative stomp from Team Liquid, but I really love their draft. I thought honestly their answers to every single one of VP's heroes were really solid, and let's get into it. And quickly, I wanted to briefly let you guys know that the GameLeap website is currently 50% off if you use the code POG50 at checkout. I'm telling you this because number one, I think it's a good deal, and number two, I'm making a lot of top tier content over there, live game analysis, replay analysis. I'm going to be uploading some coaching sessions eventually, very soon. So I have a lot of things that I think you guys should go check out. So if you're interested in more content like you get here on YouTube and stuff that's really going to help you get to the next level, I'd appreciate it if you could use the code POG50 and get your 50% off, sign up to the website, and I'll see you there. All right, so starting off, we have a interesting set of openers. We see a Primal Beast, and the response to Primal Beast was Clockwork Disruptor. These are two heroes that definitely counter Primal Beast. Glimpse counters Trample. Kinetic Field against Primal Beast is like the hardest counter in the game. The reason why is if at any point Primal Beast even skims the Kinetic Field, Trample will not work, and Onslaught, his charge ability, will get canceled. You also have a very long range cancel to pulverize. So all in all, this matchup has been picked many times now and has proven to be effective. On top of that, Clockwork's kind of the same thing. They really doubled down on, basically countering this Primal Beast, the Clock Disruptor, saying, hey, we're going to make sure this hero is pretty miserable because Clockwork is another hero that makes it really hard to trample. And the most important thing by far, because I'm a Primal Beast spammer, the most important thing by far is that Primal Beast heavily relies on having impact by using BKB Pulverize in the mid to late game. The fact that you can easily cancel that from like across the map is extremely valuable on Clockwork. From there we saw a Visage. So they basically immediately switched this Primal Beast to either mid or position 4 or 5. And we see, right, the Visage come out. The reason why Visage looks pretty good here is Clockwork doesn't really threaten Visage. Disruptor is also not really good against Visage. The Silence is okay because it, Static Storm, because it counters the Visage Shard. But in general, I would say it's Visage favored because these heroes don't have AoE damage for the birds, not notable AoE damage. And so I like the Visage pickup here from VP. It definitely makes a lot of sense. And then we see the Pangolier come out. This is a classic Visage counter because number one, the Rolling Thunder hits the birds and the hero. That's pretty good. Diffusal Blade actually amplifies Visage's mana problems, and Pangolier rushes that item. And finally, the minus armor from Pangolier is quite significant at the later levels, going up to 8 minus armor, and Visage does not really have major armor items that he wants to buy early on. You might be like, oh, Vlad's. Yeah, Vlad's is kind of an armor item. It's like, what, 3 armor? I might be getting that wrong, but you get the point. It's not enough to deal with Lucky Shot, considering your hero's agi gain is not good. You don't have any armor, and eventually you can buy an Assault Cuirass. But we're talking later on into the game, right? So when Pangolier comes online, which is like early to mid game, Visage is not ready to deal with him at all. And that's why teams pick the Pangolier into the Visage as sort of it's an overall game counter. The disarm is always good, even against the birds. But we see a Skywrath come out. Pretty straightforward pick here. They have a stun in the Primal. They have the Skywrath to ulti off of it. The only thing I'd say is it's really hard for Primal Beast to stun anyone this game because of these two heroes, which kind of makes this pick worse in my opinion, but it's a really OP laner with Primal Beast. If they decide to go that route, they don't this game, but that is an option. We see the Tiny come out. Honestly, I don't mind the Tiny. I found it, I guess I understand it, right? I think it's a Skywrath 5 with a Tiny 4. And these heroes can run around together in the mid game and just solo kill anybody. It's a really cool support duo because anyone can die, right? Anybody can die. No one is safe. There's not a single hero that really lives this burst. So it is a cool answer. It is a cool combo. On top of that, Tiny ladens well with Visage. Skywrath plays well with Primal. We see a really dangerous, and I mean this, we see a dangerous Lifestealer pick. The reason why I would personally be afraid of picking Lifestealer here is the Skywrath mage. I always feel like Skywrath is actually a hard counter to Lifestealer, which might seem weird. It's like, oh, Skywrath is all magical damage, but the instant silence from Ancient Seal is just an answer to the hero. It's just an answer, right? Because Lifestealer doesn't buy Dispels. His first items are going to be Armlet, into Deso, into Sange, and then sometimes BKB, which I think he picks up this game, and I love that he did. Right? I think the BKB is absolutely fantastic against these two heroes, but they have the burst combo. These two heroes can kill Lifestealer if they catch him off guard early game, and so it's not that straightforward. I think the hero lanes well into Visage from what I've heard. It lanes okay into Primal if this happens to be the offlaner and this happens to be the mid, which Liquid doesn't know yet, right? They can't really say for sure, because they could put the Visage against the Pango mid. That definitely is an option. I feel like Visage does fine there. So yeah, they didn't really know which of these would be the offlaner, and this kind of counters both of them to an extent. So I do like that, how that plays out. And finally, for the last pick of VP's draft, we see the Razor, the classic Lifestealer counter. Nothing to really think too much about here. It's just, you just link them. It's also decent against Pango because Eye of the Storm goes through Rolling Thunder, and so does Static Link. So if you BKB link the Pango and roll, and you're fast enough, you can kind of stick on top of him and kill him even in roll. It doesn't usually play out too well, but it can. And then the Lifestealer, you just Static Link him through his rage, but it doesn't really play out well this game. And we see a last pick Veno come out here from Team Liquid, which I thought was a fantastic Veno pick. They have the Clockwork to protect it in lane, which I think is the best position for it in the game to protect Veno, because I think it creates the most space in the laning stage. I think Tusk is not nearly as good. It can't really protect the Veno as well. I don't think Tiny protects the Veno as well because it doesn't trade one-on-one well. Clockwork is, in my opinion, the best position for laner to enable these types of heroes. Even Visage, I think Clock is the best personally from a laning perspective. Even a game perspective, it's good. But yeah, it's a great game for Clockwork. Honestly, the Razor pick is risky. The reason why is early game, he can't really link against Disruptor. The Clockwork can hookshot the link to save the Lifestealer. And then now they have this Veno pick, and it's such a fantastic Veno game because he's going to go Wraith Pact, which is beautiful this game, because Primal Beast and Razor do rush BKBs, which is a problem for Wraith Pact. But before they have those items, if they don't get them early enough, the Wraith Pact is going to be a major problem for Visage, Primal, and Razor, as all of these heroes kind of need to get in and don't want to prioritize hitting a Wraith Pact. So, because they just don't really have the attack speed for it. So it's a great game for that item build. And this pick just overall is pretty good against Razor in the lane because obviously you just slow him and chip him down. On top of that, the damage from Veno's ulti hard counters these BKB rushing heroes because even if they BKB, you drop an ulti on them, and then when that BKB ends, they're half HP and immediately burstable. So the first clip I want to quickly talk about is a minute 3 here. This Primal Beast rotation has become a staple of this tournament, comically. It's the 3-minute Primal Beast rotation. This shit makes me laugh every time because there's not a single mid laner in the game where I'd really be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You should rotate at minute 3. But if First Blood has not been claimed, and I really mean this, First Blood is the main thing that makes this play a reasonable idea. If this was just for some casual kill, I don't think it would be worth it. Because Primal Beast, okay, what I need you guys to keep in mind is if you kill a lane, you're basically healing that lane. If they are low HP, low mana, and you kill them, you are healing them. This guy doesn't have a great way to sustain. Feast is not good enough, right? This guy also does not have a great way to sustain. So if you kill him, you are basically giving him a free trip back to base. You have to keep that in mind as we see Matama Man go down here, right? To get the kill. And that's really nice for DM though. However, that play is really nice because Matama Man wasn't that low. His rage was just barely on cooldown. And it turns into a First Blood for the Visage, which is a fantastic play. So the classic 3-minute Primal Beast rotation works out. You know, you love to see it. And that's why this hero is first phase pick ban. So the first major rotation of the game that I think really put Liquid on top was at 10 minutes here. We see the Clockwork make a great scouting play onto the Razor on this large cam. He pings him out, and this isn't a very straightforward kill. In fact, I thought the Razor saw the Clockwork coming, but apparently that's not the case, and Disruptor has maxed out the Glimpse. This allows him to get off the Glimpse and find the Razor kill. And this is the power of the Disruptor with heroes like Clockwork. Clockwork gives the vision, Disruptor glimpses, and you get a kill that you usually, like, most team comps cannot reach Razor there. Ramses was not, like, out of position in your average game, but in this game, I guess he was, right? So basically that's a great start to the game for them, as this Razor already is not off to the greatest of starts. He did okay, honestly, considering he was laning against Veno. He actually did pretty well in that lane, but the Veno is now completely free farming in the bottom side of the map, because Razor just can't go back to this lane. Razor can't kill the Plague Wards, he can't really deal with the Venom ulti, and now it's just going to be a major issue. I think Zai does a great job this game of maxing out the Plague Wards. A lot of players would have been like, oh, Razor's going to lane against me, and then I should max out my nukes so I can easily kill him over and over again. But a good Razor player, right, Ramses in this case, is going to just leave the lane. And that's what he does. He leaves the lane. And you might be like, oh, okay, well, then, you know, the Veno gets the tower. Yeah, but he wouldn't be able to farm all the nearby camps, and he definitely wouldn't be able to farm the tower or kill the tower very quickly without this scale build. So the fact that he switched over as quick as he did, I thought was very important for this game, as now he has the max out Plague Wards. And from there, it's going to enable him to get a 15-minute Wraith Pact, which is crazy. And I talked about why this item is good. Primal Beast can't kill it when he's trampling. Visage can't really kill it in general. Visage isn't horrible, but Razor also, when he's linking someone, is not going to hit a Wraith Pact for the most part. Can he? Yes, but he's probably not going to. And so it's just an item where if you get it really early on, it's going to carry these early game team fights. And so that's why I love his item build. No small items in between besides items you would buy for the lane, such as Wraith Band, Wand, Windlace, and then from there he's going to pick up the mid tower, pick up a Wraith Pact, and just be an absolute nuisance on the map now. You'll see he's even going to look to start to push into the triangle, right? The Skywrath, you know, he's going to run into a Plague Ward, instantly gets hookshot into one Pango Q and he dies. And this is why teams love Veno if they're playing a high-tempo team comp. It's the vision from the Plague Wards, as they even find Ramses here. Tumbler's toy into the Gale, and Ramses is dead. Like, he's just dying in places you usually wouldn't die. I mean, in your average game, this is not something you're even after 20,000 hours of Dota, you would expect to kill you, right? Because he's farming this camp. He doesn't look like he's in danger. Even here, Venom is not in range, but the Tumbler's toy makes the difference in this case, as he just barely clips him and they pick up the kill, even drops the Wraith Pact to be safe. It's just great tempo, completely abusing the Venom. And this is the same reason why T1 loves this hero. The vision it provides in the early to mid game, actually just always, the vision it provides enables you to play fast. Because most heroes don't have a low cooldown vision spell like this. Rarely exists in Dota, right? There's nothing that similar to it besides maybe Treants from Hurion, Brood Spiderlings if you're really good at it, you know, some of the like Wolves from Lycan. But even then, you know, you don't have as many of those units as you do Plague Wards, and they're much easier to kill than Plague Wards. So Plague Wards are just the god vision spell in Dota for the most part. This next rotation to catch the Razor was my favorite rotation of the game. I was really impressed that they were able to actually catch him here, the Razor, because I don't know, I just didn't feel like they should have, right? So the Razor's farming bottom. I don't know if they know that or not, but the Razor's farming bottom, Visage is cleaning up top. They're trying to split the map and hit their timings, right? So Visage top, Primal Beast is mid, he's trying to complete his BKB, and the Razor's bottom. And the reason why I was surprised that they were able to catch him is I thought one of the supports would actually break the smoke here, or tank the gank, right? But that's just not what ends up happening, right? At all. So they're able to immediately bump into Ramses, and they catch him out, right? They find the main target that they want, they find the Razor, they get the glimpse, and they're able to then take him out. So even though they lose the clockwork, it's totally fine, because they're able to pick up the major kill on the Razor. And now Matuma Man can free farm bottom. The big thing there is honestly the fact that now Lifestealer doesn't have to worry about Tiny or Skywrath because both of them had the TP out, right? So it enables Lifestealer to farm 30% of the map by himself, and the rest of Liquid, if they want, can swing to the other side of the map, which they're slowly going to kind of do, right? The Venom's actually going to control this jungle just to make sure Lifestealer can't get ganked. And no, they actually make the play to go bottom. Okay, so instead of swinging the map and going top, based on the fact that they know that VP is top and maybe they feel stronger, they actually stay bottom and they not get bottom tier 2, but look to put pressure and kick out the Tiny. Now they go top. So an immediate swing, you can see how fast these teams make these decisions. An immediate swing top now. Yeah, so Venom TP's on the outpost. Doesn't look like the greatest to fight. Disruptor goes down without getting his ulti off, but they catch out the Visage and it just seems like they're tanking enough. Clock goes down too, so the fight looking a little bit suspect. Zai comes in with the Wraith Pact, and, you know, Zakota trying to take it out on the Skywrath, but they don't kill it. And now this Wraith Pact, if you don't kill it, it will carry the fight. Trying to kill it with the Visage Bird. Honestly, the Visage Birds are pretty good. I will admit they're actually better than I thought. They kind of kill it fast, but still. Overall, great moves from Liquid. They did lose some supports, but I think it was worth it to once again kind of zone out VP from where they want to farm. So this upcoming play here from Liquid is absolutely fantastic. Abusing the Infest bomb, which I've seen many teams play with this Lifestealer, and they forget to Infest bomb. It's just something they don't remember to do, simply enough. So they go in with the Pango, they hit him with the stun, TP in from the Infest bomb clock, and they pick up a very, very easy kill on the DM. No way out of the cogs, and they finish him off, even enabling the eventual deny on the tier 2. Huge net worth swing to be able to deny the tier 2. They do, unfortunately... Oh, do they even lose the Veno? They do lose the Veno, but he gets off a huge ulti here. I remember watching this. I watched the highlights of this game, and he gets off the Force Staff here, which enables him to get off the ulti and onto the 2 BKB cores, right? So now GPK is going to start ticking away, right? His HP that's usually, would make him very survivable. Eventually, the BKB is going to run out, and he's going to start ticking away. So, right, it leads to this fight where the Razor is now half HP. He wants to go on the Clockwork, but he's just too low, right? He can't commit to it and just goes down. And the only reason Clockwork can have the confidence to go in here is he knows the Primal Beast is going to be half HP. He knows the Razor is going to be half HP. So he just knows everyone's going to be half HP, and a great cogs to block him off. Honestly, he probably could have just cogs him there just because, I don't know, he's BKB'd, it's fine. I guess it is better to kind of zone him off just for overall space. Yeah, no, it definitely was better. It was way better, actually. And they pick up the kills. So beautiful play from Boxy. Great job from Zide not to panic and get off that ulti, enabling them to win the fight as GPK is half HP. From there, I want to say shout out the shout out the Force Staff buy. I can't stand that core players are like completely averse to Force Staff. It's like they're allergic to Force Staff and items like this. You can buy it if it's the game for it, and you're playing a hero like Veno that doesn't need items to do damage. Buy the Force Staff, right? It's so fantastic this game because Ramses is going to go on him. He's going to drop the ulti, putting Ramses once again in an awkward position, right? If he chases, he's going to be half HP. If he doesn't, he's going to have to go base. He ends up trying to go base here. Does he die? He gets he gets bashed by the Pango, and look at his HP. Look at his HP. He's like, oh my god. He has to go back to base. Pops the BKB so he doesn't die to Swash. I think the Swash would have killed him anyway if it connected, but oh my gosh. Just beautiful poke from Liquid. It's so beautiful what they do here. Playing max range Swash, max range Glims, max range everything, making it impossible for VP to counter initiate. That Razor died, and no one on Team Liquid was under any threat besides the initial go onto the Veno, right, from the Razor. And so it's just beautiful Dota when you see these teams play their max cast range. And honestly, Liquid's team comp is so good at that. Pango with Veno is honestly a great combo for this reason. Pango is one of the best poke heroes in the game. From a huge distance, he can take away a third of your health for most heroes, and that's on a low cooldown. And it's very, very low committal, right? And so basically you take advantage of the Plague Ward vision and you just use that Pango Q to poke people away, forcing their BKBs and so on. And it's happening over and over again. The vision game from Liquid is so much better than VP. Yes, they're winning the game, which makes it easier to play the vision, right? Because you can be confident that you're stronger. But at the end of the day, these Plague Wards, these deep wards, these rocket flares are just making it hell for VP to play the map as they find another jump onto the Tiny. Sakota gets 2 shot on a Skywrath Mage. GPK caught in a weird place. I think they can look for the glimpse. Surely they have it, right? No, okay. They don't have the glimpse, but another one fight. And they, once again, they have this deep vision and they can look to poke this guy out, right? They get the Poison Sting on the Razor. That's going to start chipping him down. And yeah, even here, right? Look at the poke. Look at how they play this Razor kill. They know he has BKB. And honestly, this was kind of a tilt play from Ramses. I know it for a fact because I know Ramses understands that this game, it's easy for them to force this BKB. Players of this caliber understand this concept of forcing BKB very, very well. And usually they position so that it cannot be done to them. But here he walks up in queues and gets way too close. Maybe he didn't know Matuma had open wounds. This was an extremely fast reaction from Matuma to give Ramses, I guess some credit or something, you know what I mean, right? And so he does get gone on, he gets caught by the open wounds, and now it's a free BKB force, right? He's gonna have to pop in. Liquid doesn't have to commit. Even there, Matuma probably chased slightly too far, right? He chased like 0.5 seconds too far, because once you see that BKB and you know you're not gonna kill him, just back off, right? Reset the fight, Razor no BKB. What is this hero gonna do this game without a BKB? What is he gonna do? Absolutely nothing. He's completely useless. Completely useless. There's no chance he fights in the Liquid's team comp without a BKB. There's no chance. And that play is so high value for that reason. Razor can't do anything on the map. They can't smoke. They can't group up. They have to try to split the map until the BKB comes out. And that enables now Liquid to get on the prowl. They know if VP takes a fight, they're going to take the fight. Because the Razor, their hard carry, is completely useless. And so they can take advantage of that and play like psychos for a bit. Obviously, you still could die to a tiny Skywrath burst, so you can't be, too reckless, but you get the point, right? You can take advantage of one play and snowball it into another 2K net worth lead. And that's what these pro players do so effectively. They get a small gap and they use it to make a bigger play, bigger set of plays, such as the Primal Beast pickoff. And now they're playing around Roshan. I think they see this as their opportunity to win. The game's about to end, but yeah, we see the Aether Lens come out from Zai. I love Aether Lens Veno. The first player I ever saw buy Aether Lens on Veno was actually Zai a long time ago, like years ago. And the reason why it's good is it lets you put down Plague Wards from further away. And that's literally the major point, no joke, because Plague Wards are a broken ability and vision is everything in Dota. But yeah, they find another Infest bomb onto the Tiny. He buys back. Doesn't look like the worst fight for VP, as the static link does kind of connect on the Matama Man, but they're just too far behind. GPK gets stuck in the cogs, and yeah, the fight's kind of a wrap. Ramses gets dropped to third health before getting off his BKB. Once again, getting his BKB poked, and they just don't do enough damage. No one on VP is threatening the Pipe, the Wraith Pack, 4-staff Veno, the high HP roll-up Pango. There's no threat. There's no threat of anything. And that's going to be the end of the game. It's an absolute stomp from Liquid. A beautiful match overall. The way they played this game was so smooth, so clean. Honestly, Team Liquid looked like an upper bracket TI caliber team, in my opinion, this game. From what I've watched of their movements, their plays, their poking, the way they forced the BKBs this game was so clean, so well executed, and they were all clearly on the same page with their plays, and that makes for a very strong and dangerous Dota team. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.